I'm Cyclad, and as part of my league step preparations for 3.27, I took it upon me and run every campaign relevant zone, or for optimized campaign passing relevant zone, and learn all the layouts and gather them all in a document. Now this is the document you can find on definiteguide.com, also will be a link in the description. And yesterday I did a look in my thought process when I run through zones, make a comment over my own VOD, so I can give insights on the little things I do and the way I look at zones, so helping you trying to understand the process a little bit quicker and have an easier time doing your own practice runs. And today we're going to take a look at Act 2. So you have my website here. When you're going to go to Act 2 overview, you have the optimized campaign pathing here in written form, but also we're going to be going over this video, which will show exactly what I do when I do, and mine can give some further explanation on it. But very quickly first, the optimized campaign routing. We start with Southern Forest, we go to town. We're gonna be going the right side first because the next power spike we get access to is the level 16 gems. So we go Crossroads into Chamber of Sins. In Chamber of Sins, we do Chamber of Sins 1 into Chamber of Sins 2, and there we get access to the Baleful Gem and kill Fidelitas. Once we do, we can get our level 16 Heralds, we can get level 16 utility gems like Blood Rage and like Wave of Conviction. It's a really neat level to get. Alternatively, when you hit Crossroads and you need a second Quicksilver, if you found the Den entrance in Old Fields, you can go back to town, take the portal, get to Den, which gets you a second Quicksilver flask. Is really neat to have, but lately we are mostly skipping it, as if we need a second Quicksilver, we usually get it in Act 1, Upper Prison. After we are done with Chamber of Sins, we're now going to the right side for the next power spike, which is Riverways into Western Forest into Weaver Chambers. Weaver Chambers, we are trying to aim to be level 16 to utilize the gems we got from the Chamber of Sins complete. And now after we kill Weaver, we get access to level 18 gems. So we go log back to town. And now we want to kill the bandits next, now that we have a lot of power. So we usually start with Caitlin, then we kill Oak and get the waypoint, and then we go and kill Alira and help open the way forward to go back to Act 1 and get the passive point. If your goal is to help Caitlin for 50 movement speed or kill all bandits is the same order. You will just kill Alira last. If you want to help Caitlin or Oak, you can just shuffle them around and do the bandit you help last, so the bandit you help directly gives you the apex. Once we are done with the bandits, we are moving on, and again, we go to town. We grab Fellshrine Ruins into Crypt, and then into Crypt 2 to get the other passive point quest and finish all the trials in this act. And from there, we go into Vaal Ruins, Northern Forest, Caverns, and the Ancient Pyramid. And with that, we have the optimized pathing for Act 2. Now, let's take a look at the actual running. Again, I'm gonna let the footage run at 2x speed, so it goes down a little bit fast, and I will just pause if needed. Southern Forest is a great zone to get a little bit of extra XP. If the monkeys group up really nicely, and preferably we want to get to level 13, if not very close to level 13. In my case, I did a little bit underkilling. In the first town, we are starting to sell items as rares now, so all the rare loot I got from my Vaal IID, if I can't use it, I will just sell it for alteration shards. So selling the rare loot for alteration shards, because I need alteration shards in Act 2 to buy items. Act 1 we needed transmutes, Act 2 we need alterations. Also a really great point, because I now have actual stuff in my inventory. Something that I forgot to talk about in video 1 is my inventory management. I have always things at the exact same positions. Let me increase the size of this. So we always have stuff at the exact position for me. Now, depending on how much you want to do it and how tidy you like your inventory, you can do this a bit more extreme. You can just say, okay, left is currency, right is keep, middle is sell. Or you can say, okay, I have always my wisdom scrolls in the top left corner or in the top right corner if you want to do it that way. Then you have the portal scrolls. Then I have my transmutes in the second bottom row. Then I have the alterations, and then I have the alchemies, and below I have their shards. So I can always see what I have in my inventory. Then in this row, I will put essences once I have a couple more, and use these spaces for other currency. This way I always can just open my inventory and real quick have an overview of what currency I have, what currency I need, and how I can continue with that. So in this case, I know I need at least 2 alterations in Act 2 to buy the gems, and later I need 2 more alterations. So I always plan ahead of, okay, do I need to sell items identified or unidentified to get the right currency for what I want to buy next. Actually need to go back one step again. In this variant, I did saw the den here. I saw the den entrance, but because I'm a shield charge build, I didn't need it. If I would need den, I do not go to the den, place a portal, and then go to the exit. I saw the den here. In this case, I would have left the portal here to later go to the den and would have just continued on my way. We are not going out of our way to place portals. Crossroads is a set layout. We always have follow the road to the waypoint. Chamber of Sins is always up. Broken Bridge is always top right. And bottom right is always Crypt. Here I'm always checking this part first to see in which directions I can go and see if I see the waypoint. The moment I see the waypoint, I know that in this direction is gonna be Chamber of Sins 2, which means the entrance to the middle part has to come from these directions. There will never be a connection here if the waypoint is there. So because this part is blocked, I'm moving this direction, I see the waypoint, so I know that I can enter from here, or rarely over this way. There. One more thing I did here is I lacked XP. I underkilled in Southern Forest. So I know that these corners, the staircases that do not lead to Chamber of Sins 2, so this one leads to 2, but these two, and I'm already here. It's a very short path off-road or off-pathing to kill a guaranteed blue pack. These staircases don't lead lower, always have a blue pack, so they're always great for XP. Now I can go through, and this will always lead to the stair, and there we see it. In Chamber of Sins level 2, we always check south first, and depending on what we see, how the zone continues, we continue running the zone. So in this case, it does, I thought it leads in this way, but then I saw the bridge, so I took the bridge, and when we go here and we do see the trial room, we take the trial room. One neat thing that we can do with Lightning Warp and Blink Arrow is we can do a skip here. Now in this run, I don't have Lightning Warp access yet, so I can't do the skip and I need to run through the Saw Blades. Now this is something you do need to learn if you want to optimize here. Because the trial faced that way and was on the main wall, the exit will be in the bottom left corner. Actually, here's another great thing. You saw that I had 3 passive points before I allocated points. I didn't had any big hard fight in front of me until this point. After I killed my Vaal, I didn't allocate any points until I knew that the points were enough to get to an important node. So in my case, it's Elemental Overload. It could have also been a node that gives you movement speed, a node that gives you power, or these small nodes that actually give you something. I'm only allocating travel nodes when I need them either for any amount of energy shield and any amount of damage matters, or any amount of defense in general matters, or I apply them if I know that I have enough to get something good out of the game. Especially with the game now being paused, we're trying to not spend unnecessary time allocating passive points. Fidelitas. Don't forget to take the Baleful gem before you log. And then we can log the town. Now we get access to our gems. Now, I only got magic items here, meaning I didn't have 2 alterations. So when you have less alterations than the ones you need to buy everything you need to be aware of what gems have priority. For a Firecaster in my case, Herald of Ice is neat, but Wave of Conviction gives me more single target damage, so that is what I took before killing Weaver, so I have access to it while fighting Weaver. Then in Riverways, if you find the waypoint, here I found the waypoint fairly late. If you find the waypoint very early, you can go to the waypoint and reset the instance. It's normally in the middle or towards the end. So here I only had a short way to the exit. But if you have very long way, but if you have a very short way from the entrance to the waypoint, you will have a very long way from the waypoint to the exit. So it's better to make a new instance there. In Riverways, we just follow the road, but in Western Forest, we follow the road till we see the waypoint. Now, if the road is going like this, and the waypoint is on the left side of the road, Weaver will be on the right side of the road. So we go to the wall and we will follow the wall. Otherwise, Alira, in this case, is on the same side of the waypoint to the road. If the waypoint would have been here, so let me do that in a different color. If the waypoint would have been here, Weaver would have been on the left side and Alira would have been on the right side. That's how we can very easily read Western Forest. Another great indicator for Weaver is these cobwebs. Once these cobwebs starts, we know that Weaver entrance is somewhere here. In my case, Weaver was in this tiny tunnel leading to the entrance. In Weaver's Chambers, we want to follow the left side. We always want to follow this wall, because we don't know if the zone leads up top north, down bottom west, or in the other direction. So by checking this corner, we can easily identify where it went. In this case, it went up, so I kept moving upwards. Here I had level 16, so I'm trying to fit in Herald of Thunder and Wave of Conviction. I socketed in the wrong order, meaning that Herald of Thunder took my open right click. Otherwise, it would have already placed itself in the correct spot in the offhand. I did a little blunder there, which was just a little bit of inconvenience rather than a big time loss. Here again, I have a passive point, but the fight isn't that difficult, and I don't get anything big for it, so I don't spend it. Now I go for the bandits. One neat thing, what you see here, in Crossroads is a guaranteed breach in this chapel. It's always in the same spot. So if you do need additional XP, it's a great spot to grab them. Here I forced my level up to 17 and then I continued on my journey. There will technically be another breach here. I see it there as well, but it's less on the way. So this is one we do only if we really need XP. For Broken Bridge, we can theoretically just follow the road. You see it here in the border as well. So we can just follow the road and always lead to the Broken Bridge. But once I was here, I saw that the edge is here, which means this road will lead somewhere here. And even if it curves this way, the entrance will still be here. So I can just continue off-road and just be aware that the road is left of me and will take curve. So I have a little bit less walking to get to the boss. And there we can dash across the bridge. Now I allocated points because I had an actual damage node. 10% increased damage early on is still good. If you go into this right corner in a solo play, you can just get Craitland stuck there, making them a little bit easier to kill. Then from Riverways, Wetlands is always above the waypoint. So in this direction or this direction, and there's always this cobblestone path or pebble path, or however you want to call it, that will lead to the bridge entrance to Wetlands. In Wetlands is a little bit trickier to perfectly read. Oak is either, so if this is oak, he is either close to the left wall, left edge of the zone, or right edge of the zone. And this means depending if we walk right of oak upwards after we killed him, if we see the left edge, then the waypoint is on the left side. If we don't see the left edge, the waypoint is on the right side. However, if we have this long river going up, then oak will be late into the zone, and we need to go into the bottom left corner to find the waypoint and the entrance to the Vaal Ruins. This is the easiest way to remember how to run Wetlands. So we just move up, we look for oak. I do check the essences if they're good. There's our late oak, because we walked up quite a bit before we found him. Then, of course, we kill oak to the best of our capabilities. Overall, I had a pretty weak run at this stage, but it's still decent timed. I think I played well overall, but I had very weak gear. And here we are at the Wetlands. Now we can Western Forest with the order we done things, something I forgot to mention earlier. One great thing we have is, because we time, if you're fast enough, of course, all the zones you have run, you're re-entering in the same zone, meaning you already have half the zone discovered, and it's a little bit faster to discover the rest because you already know the direction you're going in. So it happens with Broken Bridge, not Broken Bridge, it happens here with Western Forest, and it happens with Crossroads and Wetlands. Now, Wetlands and Crossroads doesn't really affect us, but it's neat to know that you're timing well if you're still in the same instance. You just know that you're doing it at a decent pace. You're not slowing down because the instant is still the same. Now, I mostly just look at following the road here in Fellshrine Ruins and just try to be as fast as possible. I kill to try and keep a little bit Quicksilver charges up. I should have forced the level up here, so that when I enter the Crypt in the early part where there are no enemies, I can force the movement speed with the Quicksilver Flask. Now, to read Crypt is a very quick and easy way. You imagine this line in the starting room. If your waypoint is below that line, we follow the opposite wall. So we follow this wall into the zone. If the waypoint is above this line, so it would be here, and the door would be here, the waypoint would be here, and the line, it would also be above the line, we follow the same side of the wall and not the opposite side. The zone itself is similar to Act 1 zones and other zones, this diamond shape, and we are moving left to right, right to left, top, bottom to top, or top to bottom. So we just need to figure out which variant we are in and move accordingly. In this layout specifically, where we enter from the left side and the waypoint is below, this part we don't need to check. This would be the entrance which we would have later taken into the archives in Act 7. But here we can just ignore that bit. We have the trial up here, so when we have the split pass, the trial is up and the exit is below. We already saw that the room there continues, which leads to Crypt 2. And in Crypt 2, we have a very long rectangle, more than a square, but I suck at drawing apparently. And we need to go to the diagonal opposite again to get to our to the quest item, the hand. I forgot how it's called. Not Hand of Innocence. Golden Hand? I think it's the Golden Hand. Yeah. And then we can lock and we go to town. Now, one thing I go to Act 1 to finish my Act 1 town, and I grab all the gems I need in Act 1. In my case, it's LMP and Lightning Warp, so I can do the skips, and I prepare the swap in case I later do it. The next time I would lock, I would go to Act 1 town, and I need to be aware of that, and I directly plan later on to, instead of lock, use a portal, so I go to the Act 2 town, as the Act 2 town is a little bit quicker to the waypoint than the Act 1 town. Now, for Vaal Ruins, there is a little bit more complicated way to read it, but similar to Upper Prison, I did cover it in the big video of the top 10 layouts to learn, so you can take a look at that for a more detailed read of it. The simple way we are looking at Vaal Ruins is okay, we need to figure out, are we in a pattern we had to learn, like the fast one, the loop pattern, or the hard pattern, or the W pattern, however you want to call it? Or are we in an S pattern? So we know the identifiers, or we know how the zone behaves in the other layouts. And if it's like this, it curves top, we see the Vaal room and we go right. We know for sure that we are an S pattern, and it's gonna go like that. So here we have the Vaal room, we click on it, on the ancient seal. Not releasing the darkness, but it's okay because we're gonna kill it anyway. And now I know that the exit is gonna be facing left again. Northern Forest, because I have this starting part here, and normally on most layouts it is upright, and in this case it's laying. It's not exactly horizontal and vertical because it's slightly curved or diagonal, but regardless, because this one is lying down and not upright, I'm hugging the left wall for the first part of the zone and not the right wall, which I would usually go along with. So here we see that not at the first option I have I'm going up, but I'm sticking to the left till I see that I've reached the left edge, and now I'm going up. And now that I've seen the river again, now I'm moving along the right wall again. So we walk in kind of this is kind of how we run the zone. There are a few more specific details, but this is again going above the scope of this zone. In Caverns, we are either we have bridges leading this way, and we entering the Vaal Ruins or the ancient pyramids bottom layer from this, or it goes this way. I have not found any noticeable difference depending on the starting zone. We are always gonna just follow the path. We're gonna stick on the outer edge when we have a split path until we see the waypoint, or at least the stairs leading up to the Vaal Ruins part or the ancient pyramid part. We're gonna go along here. Now we see the stairs, now we're here. Now, because we're entering from the south, the exit is most likely in one of these two corners. We have not seen the Vaal recipe. When we see the recipe, we know that this is not the direction of the exit. So we are gonna take one direction. We're gonna go towards the corner. Now I see the recipe, so I know it's not this corner. I'm pushed off the top corner, so I'm just following along the wall, and now I see the exit for the first layer. I'm repeating the same thing. This is gonna be a repeated pattern with where we are in a square and we don't know in which corner the exit is, which we have one more time in Act 3. I'm gonna move through the center of the zone and trying to find the exit on my minimap, and then only then do I head into the corner. Starting on the second floor, it's not 100% guaranteed, but I have personally not seen a variation yet, or at least I can't remember when I did, that on the second floor wasn't diagonal. So very rarely it is not diagonal here, but we are assuming it's diagonal first. But we are again applying the same rule. We are going to not go into a corner when we don't see the exit in it. So I'm moving diagonal, I see the corner, and now I'm trying to figure out from which direction I can enter the corner. Utilizing the minimap in zones like this is very important. We're trying to be in the center of the zone to have the most optimized path to the exit and not take any dead ends. Killing the Vaal Oversoul gives a good amount of time to set up anything, check your gear, set your setups, and then we kill the boss. I would still argue that my character is in a fairly weak state, and I got unlucky with the boss going into the UnId phase. I think it was 3 times, but that is whatever. There's not really anything we can do to force the boss to do a different attack. At least as far as I'm aware. If you're aware of a different way, please let me know. But with that, we have finished Act 2. Act 2 can be optimized quite a bit, the better and the faster you are, but here we did the last thing I did mention. I used the portal instead of just going and logging, because that places me in Act 2 town. In Act 2 town, I'm closer to the waypoint. All this being said, hopefully the video was very rich with information and you were able to learn quite a bit. If you did enjoy the video, I would highly appreciate a thumbs up and a comment. It helps with the algorithm and helps this video reach more people it is helpful for. That being said, have a lovely day, and I'll be seeing you in my next video or next live stream. Goodbye.